All right. This took a second. It's having some OBS learning curve stuff going on. It is, I believe it's Wednesday. It's well, it's 2. It's 2:04. I'm working out in the shop today. Mike's here again. Been helping out. Um, I guess there's a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about Los Angeles party. And you can hear there's a fat baby on the loose in here. So that's happening. See if we'll get some more people to roll in here. Hey, Mark. There's Mark. Says as you can see on the poster, that's Karina. She's one of the models I use when I'm in LA. That's another shot by at Glitter Pimp. If you go over to Instagram, you can check him out. He's an old friend of mine from Houston. Played a bunch of like punk bands and shit together, and then we eventually I drove the moving truck for him when he moved to LA. So we moved. Well, I didn't plan on moving, but I drove the truck for him, and then once we get out there, I just didn't go back to Houston. That story was mostly because the girl I was going out with, that stuff went to crap, and then the band I was in was pretty much broken up, so I didn't have a lot of reason to go back. So I ended up staying in LA. So then John, you guys probably heard the story, or I think I did a post about it the other day. He started to want to do photography. It was maybe like 2002 or 3. And hey, Bonnie, what's up? We made a deal that we were gonna shoot models, but we didn't want to take more than an hour. We didn't really want to put up any lights, and we didn't want to do any Photoshop nonsense. And so that's been our bargain for the past man, I guess that'd be like 12 years or something. 12, 13 years we've been doing that, and he's turned into, I think, a really, really, really good photographer. He's definitely my favorite. We just work well together. There's no, we don't really talk about stuff that much. He kind of knows what stuff he wants to try out that's kind of new, and I'll throw some stuff out there that I kind of want to try out that may be kind of new, and then that's how we do it, and it gets done. Oh, flowers! Right on. Where are you, Bonnie? I can't remember, but I know Robert. So we'll give a shout out, of course, to Robert. Robert's over in the mall here in Temple. So when I moved to Temple, it was important for me to like try to meet the cool people. So I went over to the mall, and there's a Robert and there's a Rob. There's the two Robs. So there's one Rob who is kind of like the he's like the I don't know what you'd call the other Rob. So we'll say there's well, no, because you guys both have beards. We'll call him Big Rob and Little Rob. Oh, Corpus. I love Corpus. So Little Rob kind of runs the show, and somehow has a bunch of different things running over in the mall over there. And he runs mostly Peggy's coffee shop. He also runs like a sweets, a candy store. I think now he just got into running the pretzel place. And then I guess he's either part owner, or I'm not sure how it works over there, but he's also involved with Under My Skin Temple, which is the place where you go to get all your piercings and stuff done, and it's also the place where you can buy Junker Design stuff if you're in Temple. So I'm not really in that many stores, but it's really important for me to at least be in a store in the town that I live in. And to me, it's like super cool because that mall is like a mall that I grew up in. So there's a cool sci-fi and collectibles place that has comic books and video games, as well as like graphic novels and other stuff. There's a game room. Then there's the other game room that's attached to the movie theater. So there's a movie theater there. Then there's a coffee shop there. Yeah. All right. No. Okay, I'm having a little bit of technicals over here, making sure that we can keep doing this. I just switched from my 5G to my other stuff. So you guys, are you getting anything still? Can you hear me? Eh? Come here, banana. It says I'm still live, so I'm assuming it's live. I don't know what's going on. I had a data drop, so I don't know what you guys see or not see. No boy. You can hear me on the chat. Can you see the frame? You can still see that? Oh, okay. I guess it's fine. It just dropped data for a second. So I think everything is cool. Luckily, Yvonne's in the other room, so she can monitor what you guys can see and not see and all that. And I have my delayed response thing going on up here too. It lags quite a bit. So anyway, so yeah, we sell in Temple. John's that photographer. We're gonna do a party in LA. You're all invited. Or if there's any LA people, when you see this video, when it gets put up later, just remember October 5th. We're gonna do like a party. I think it's probably gonna be from like maybe 1 in the afternoon till 8 or 9 at night, or till question mark or whatever. But usually what we do is I drag out a bunch of old screens and a couple of new screens, and I'll screen print whenever you want. Just bring it. Just bring it to Junker, and we hang out, and people who want to drink beer, and I usually drink energy drinks, and sometimes they bring us weed. It was sponsored last time by a company called Heavy Grass, and it was also sponsored by Monster. This year, I don't know. I haven't lined up any sponsors yet. I'll try to see if anyone's around and do it. Maybe we'll get some sponsors. Definitely try to have some snacks. The thing I like to do on the West Coast is introduce people to Frito Pie because they don't know what it is. A lot of people, if you didn't come from the South and play Little League, it seems like you don't know what like Frito Pie is. But I think I have converted some people. And there's actually a fancy restaurant downtown on I think it's Fourth and Main, that one of their fancy items is like a Frito pie with like some pulled pork shit on top of it. So people are aware, but Frito pie, for me, it has to be served with in the bag. It has to be in the Frito bag. So it's Frito. You gotta get Fritos. And then you got to get a bag of Fritos. Then you cut the bag open. Then you got to put some crappy chili in there. I don't know what they use in the baseball game. I would bet it's probably from the Hormel family. If you want to luxury it up, you can use some of that. I think there's Amy's brand fancy vegan chili, or you can use. I like Wolf brand. Wolf brand is what I grew up on. And you put the Wolf brand chili on top of the Fritos, and then you put a bunch of whatever else you want on top. So, kind of like a taco. So sometimes you can get cheese, and you'll get like diced tomatoes, diced onions, some salsa, pico de gallo or whatever, sour cream. Sometimes I guess I've seen that mostly at inside venues. I don't remember that from when I was outside, when we were playing Little League when I was growing up. But either way, like that's what a Frito pie is, if you don't know what Frito pie is. And that means also you could probably go make one right now if you wanted. And I'm trying to make sure that the stream is still working. The chat. So if you guys can hear me, just send me something in the chat and let me know. At least on my side, it says unable to connect to the chat, so I don't really know what's going on. But so yeah, we're hanging out here. There is actually not an R2D2 here. That was just a lie. That's Mike's telephone. But yeah, was everyone excited for like 2 seconds? That there could have been an R2D2 in the area. So speaking of R2D2s, let's talk more about this party. So the party, make sure bring the things that are best to screen print on. Obviously, is T-shirts, but if you bring jackets, I can print on the back of them. On Levi's and stuff like that, it's kind of hard to get around the seams, but I can get around them. But T-shirts are probably the best. Any cotton kind of run-of-the-mill upper torso covering garment is usually fine if it doesn't have a ton of seams on it, and we can make it work like that. That should be good. Let me see. I think yesterday what I did to get the chat working is I refreshed, and so I don't know if that's going to help. Let's see what happens. Hopefully I didn't just blast something. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I just needed to refresh on my end. Idiot! Oh, hey, so what's up? So now Rob is in here. Hey, Rob. And then we got Mike, Bonnie, and I guess Robert from the mall is probably still in here. They didn't have breakfast tacos in LA. Are you sure? That sounds crazy. I mean, they just mostly I think they serve regular ass tacos, but at least by my house you could always get egg and bacon and bean tacos. I don't know if it was called breakfast taco, but you should have been able to get it there. I don't know how long ago that was, but if you want to go to LA, I'll be there 1st of October through the 13th. The October 5th is the party. There's going to be special guests that I'm still working on. Hopefully showing up. I'm not saying anything until I have until that they confirm. But some other cool artists from LA hang out, and we can all make T-shirts and stuff together. So that's what happens at a junker party, screen printing party. So that, like I said again, that's the 5th. The only other stuff that's going on right now is making some really cool Halloween costumes for some people. Actually, has to do with the mall over there. There's the skinny Rob, small Rob, is getting some crazy ass costume made. I'll just say it involves a lot of leather and it involves human faces. So keep it at that for now. And so Robert's in the store right now. You can rush over to Temple Mall and buy all the junker stuff that's left there, which I think it's probably time to put in some new stuff or some other stuff. So make sure if now I get texts from my guy working in LA with me. Anyway, so that's what's going on in LA. That's the LA stuff. The mall stuff. Go to the mall. Check out the mall. Love Carne. I don't even know how to pronounce that, Bonnie. Gusada. What's Gusada? What's Carne Gusada? Guisada. Meat and stew. Oh, okay. Okay. Luckily, I have a girlfriend that's a chef and all that, so we're good. So yeah, I don't know why you couldn't get a breakfast taco. That's kind of upsetting. I'm also out of coffee. That's probably part of the problem. There's a little bit of dog fat in this coffee still. We've been using this weird stuff, coconut oil mixed with this clarified butter. I guess if you're on the caveman diet, it's supposed to be really good. I'm not really sure why we got it. I think on a whim. I think we got it just to see what it would do. I don't know. It just makes your face feel buttery, greasy, like you just ate too many quesadillas. Um, so yeah. So I don't know if it's gonna make me any stronger or better or anything than I was before. But yeah, I'm trying that shit, and then I'm trying to plug in this light so I can. This room is a little bit on the weird side of dark. All right, so let's get into some stuff. So I'm gonna be changing the dates for all of the Hugo stuff. That contest is not gonna go on very much longer. Um, I think I'll probably wrap it up in the middle of November, and then just jump on to the other one. So if you guys watched the uh, the progress shots on the draw exploder, you can see it's pretty much near being done. And then there's also the contest that's the Akira would be the next one. So I'll see that guy Mickey, who's going to be the model for the Akira contest when I go back to LA. So I'll get his measurements, and that'll be next. But I just want to start blasting through this stuff. The thing is, where you guys messed up is that if I don't sell 2,000 tickets, not everyone gets tons of free cool stuff. You're just going to end up getting a cool exploder shirt for being in the for taking a chance on the raffle. So the stipulation always was to sell the 2,000 tickets. It's just not close yet. I'm not sure why people wouldn't have an interest in getting a jacket, but it is what it is. So move on from that and and see what happens with the Akira stuff. Will be pretty nutso, you know. Everyone that's seen, you haven't seen the movie, then do the research. Go check it out. It's really good. I've seen it a bunch of times. It's an anime. I don't even know it's a manga as well. But the anime is really really good. So the last I heard is on that front, I think he's going to do it after he does Thor: Love and Thunder. Supposedly, the New Zealand director, and I apologize, I always mess his name up. Wakiti, T. Wakiti, is going to direct that, and somehow Leonardo DiCaprio is involved. I think it's his production company. It's something he's been wanting to do for a long time. I don't know if that means that he's Kaneda. He's going to be acting in it or not. It just seems. I don't know. Are they, probably end up getting a bunch of crap for whitewashing another anime film or something. But it seems like you'd have to get someone who's like a lot younger, because it looks like Kaneda to me looks like he's 16, 17, I think. No, that would be my guess. There's plenty of actors you can get to do that. As far as like all the rest of the production design and stuff for that film, I'm sure it's going to be amazing. I'm have to check on IMDb to see if it's the same people involved. If there is a producer that was attached to it, so I have to check to see if that producer is involved. and then I guess send them a letter or whatever. Slick's not on here, so someone is going to have to come up with some questions to cover the absence of our friend from Germany. I don't know what he's doing. Sleeping. He might be out. I think it's later there. It's definitely later there. So Rattalk is we've covered all the Los Angeles stuff. The Star Wars stuff continues to be like really bothersome, and you can watch a pretty long video about the Star Wars stuff that was on yesterday about basically Bob Iger just basically talking a bunch of crap to George Lucas, and I think being kind of misleading. So here we go. Here we go again. Yeah. So I don't care if I don't know if this is protocol or not for doing these live streams, but I gotta answer my phone. So Bob Iger basically bought like these 3 movie outline from George Lucas. Supposedly told him like, hey, don't, I'm not legally bound to use these ideas. And I guess there was maybe paperwork for that or not paperwork for that. Anyway, fast forward, then Bob Iger took in J.J. Abrams and one other person to go meet with him to kind of like they're going to like pitch, their ideas to George Lucas. This is before A Force Awakens, and I guess George Lucas got pretty pissed off because none of his ideas were in there, or at least very few. It seems like none. And you can see where they're trying to like cover their ass and try and get things back on track because George Lucas has been involved with this next film quite a bit. And I don't know why they didn't have him involved the whole time. Like, why you let Rian Johnson write a script for the... It's... Ugh. Kills me. And then you had Colin Trevorrow, I think, was attached. The guy who directed Logan. And from what I understand, the exact reason why he left, and he was supposed to be directing Episode 9, was his script and his ideas that he was working on really had to do with a really cool send-off for Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher. So that was the disagreement there. So he knew that they were planning on, they're like, you can forget your script because Luke Skywalker is going to be dead. And so I think the quote was, there's no way for him to continue to do it. So he's like, there's no way for me to continue to do what I want to do. So I have to move on to something else. And man, they effed it up. That Logan was so good. Man, and you keep on hiring these jokers, and then halfway through you hire somebody else. Like, that happened during Rogue One. You had, I believe it was the stunt coordinator reshot tons of stuff, if not another director. And then you did the same thing during Solo by firing the 2-man team and then bringing in Ron Howard. And it shows that you have no idea what they were doing. Because if you came in and didn't like it, like, you should have known that from day one. I don't know how things got so out of control. Now, I've worked on major films, so it's not like I don't know what happens when you're doing a major motion picture. And to use some excuse that, Star Wars is different and bigger or different than other films, I think is complete BS. And even Bob Iger tried to pull some of that crap in his book. His explanation was, he was, I guess, shocked when George Lucas was angry because George Lucas couldn't possibly imagine what kind of pressure he was under to produce a Star Wars film. And it's just like, and this guy made a decision to put this book out and let those quotes come out. So I don't know. He's not. None of those people over there are thinking. Why would you even put that stuff in your book? It makes you look like a complete total fucking idiot. Shocking. So like, until all those people are gone, there's no way Star Wars is ever getting back on track. Putting your hopes in the Mandalorian and some of that other stuff, I just don't know. I just don't know at all. Hey Zach, what's going on? Yeah. So Rise of Skywalker. It's ridiculous. Yeah, such bullshit is right. So basically, I think their excuse there is they're going to start calling, maybe Jedis are going to start being called Skywalkers, or the people that follow Luke's particular brand of. It doesn't make sense. Like so, Yoda blew up all the books, all the Jedi scrolls and stuff. I think Rey has some, but those would have to be written by Luke Skywalker. And he's not even around to really teach anybody, so she's going to secondhand teach people, or now she's going to be the new Jedi Master. Or the other terrible, terrible thing I heard is, Princess Leia is going to be the last Jedi before, I guess, the new crop of Skywalkers comes up. And, yeah, I'm sorry, I don't buy that at all. There's no, and so they're basically going to try to work backwards, which... is having tons and tons of crazy flashbacks and other kind of bullshit to explain like all the. It's like backhoeing. I don't get it. I have no interest in that. Looking at a bunch of flashbacks to explain where we are now to somehow give where the films would be now like some extra weight. And maybe people oh yeah, now I understand why X did Y. That makes somehow The Last Jedi a good movie. It's not going to work. No one's going to fall for this crap. And that's that. So I just want to touch on that again, because it just seems like the more that you kind of they can't self censor. It's really weird. So George Lucas got Hollywooded, big time. They said all the right stuff to him, and then basically they're going to do whatever the F they wanted. So Kathleen Kennedy promised to honor his characters. They weren't going to do that. Bob Iger, I think, bought his treatments as like a little pat on the head, and then said, we're not obligated to use, to follow these outlines. And we'll listen to you in good faith, or some kind of crap like that. You know how they a bunch of Hollywood speak. We'll listen to you in good faith. We'll really take on these ideas that you have with like a lot of consideration and love and respect for these characters. It's all crap. It's all crap. It's all business. You think like that's something that George Lucas will take to his grave. He's like, man, I did all this work, and even though I think the prequels suck, he did make a bunch of these films, then sold it to someone else. The first thing they did was like freaking stab him in the back, and in the front, and down below, and above, probably. But that's the deal, That's yeah. I don't know what else you can say. It's like a bummer, because I really wanted to be excited about these films. Is that your car? Your car? You don't know why it does that? You don't know why it starts honking? It's random. That's bizarre. And then it stops? So that's Mike's car outside. We learned that it randomly likes to set off its own alarm, and it's really for no reason, and then it stops whenever it wants. So there you have it. God, dude, that's gotta suck. What about outside of your house?
Apartment?
Yeah, outside of your apartment. Hey, Banana. Oh yeah, I wonder if there's like a short circuit in there. So we're all gonna try to figure out why Mike's alarm decides to randomly go off and just start doing the honky honky, and then it does that for what, like a minute or something, and then it turns back off again. What's up, Banana? And then there's Banana over here peeking through her monkey cage bars, trying to get in and do stuff. And then she makes squeaks, and then she runs away. All right, so some other good news. The sneakers are on the way. So we talked about that last time. I hope you guys are. Yeah, Zach, totally. Yeah, I have no idea why he put that in there. Like why? Maybe he felt like really shitty and he couldn't help himself. Like he just wanted to kind of explain his part of the situation. Although it makes him look like an ass. Anyway, like how much money does that guy make? Does he need any more money? Why don't you fucking retire? I mean, what are you doing? You know, and yeah, it's about power and whatever else. Anyway, so yeah, the car is probably haunted. And that's probably like as good as idea as any other one. It's got to be like a, there's a short or there's a, something's not grounded or something. I guess that'd be my guess. So the sneakers are done. The sneakers are on their way from Indonesia to here. That is the sneakers sample. So there's a high top, regular ass shoe like the one I've shown you guys before. That looks like this. This is the sneak, and this one's pretty freaking old. So we have this sneaker. Obviously, outside you have this. We got the extra toe. I want it to look like a Nostromo shoe, kind of. Inside zipper. I mean, I don't know why I ever wore shoes without zippers. Now I'm like super lazy. Yeah, it's got some leather detail back here. I don't know. I love these things. People who bought all the first ones seem to love them. So we're doing them again. So there's that. The rubber tip looks a little bit different. Instead of having like as many like little like racing stripe or little things on it, it has less. So I don't know if that bums you guys out. I think it still looks cool. And then we're doing combat sneaker, which is about 14 or 16 holes. And I can count them obviously when it gets here. But it's up to, like mid-calf or so. It's basically a combat boot, but it's a sneaker, combat sneakers. So we're putting those out. And then the steel toe boot is going to come out too. So that's all stuff that really probably like you'd be able to get by next year. I don't want to make any like wild promises. I mean, it takes a while for this stuff to get made. I have to figure out how I'm going to sell it, if it's going to be pre-order, or if it's going to be not pre-order. I'm trying to not get stuck with sneakers. So I still have sneakers in the garage, but if you're a man's 6.5, I know there's some mans out there, some tiny mans. Then I have the sneaker for you. If not, then I have midget sneakers in my garage. If you're a lady, I believe that's a lady's 8.5. And so if you want one of these sneakers, you can hit me up. If you're a guy and you are really into junker stuff, there are 3 pairs of 8.5s that are the other color variations that I didn't do. So there's like a blood red. There's kind of like an army green. There's I think, what is the other one? It's like a weird white looking sneaker. So I have those testers that there's no reason for me to keep them. They're 8.5s. pretty much just like the other sneakers. They're just a different color. And so those are there. And you can write me at Junker Designs if you want to pick up any of these weird items that are hanging out in the garage. And the other thing that's coming up is the production of these super nasty punk rock jackets we were talking about. So I showed them a couple shows again. Hey, Amber. The picture's right here on my foots. Why don't you send me an email at Junker Designs, JUNKERDESIGNS at Yahoo, and we can figure it all out. There is Euro sizing on the shoes still, because in Indonesia they're on Euro sizing, but the boot will go up to the US 12.5. And I think the sneaker, I think we're still stuck at US 11.5, I believe. I have to double check that. I know the boots come in more sizes and bigger sizes than the. I think on the boot actually we can go up to a 13. I have to look at all the paperwork again. But thanks for joining, Amber. I don't know if we've seen Amber on here before, but do me a favor and make sure to subscribe. Make sure to like this video. Make sure to go ahead and leave some comments when it comes up, when it sticks onto the page. I think that takes like a day before you'll see it pop up, or maybe a little less. But yeah, make sure to do that. Make sure to share. And then the other thing that's happening is these punk rock jackets that you guys can pre-order. You can, once again, just send me an email. And, I've put the picture up before. Oh, you're subscribed. Thanks. Thank you, Amber. I really appreciate it. I think I'm up to like 187 subscribers, which is nothing to laugh at. But I do want to get up to 1,000 before we start doing the tutorials, the fashion tutorials, which I really do want to do. And then here's Slick. Oh, hey, man. Oh, yeah, rehearsal, rad. So we're going to try that. The new jackets are going to be, let me see, I'll pull up the picture again if it's, I think it might still be on my thing here. It's an old ass picture of me on tour sitting by this old dude, and it's one of the first jackets I did way back when. I was like, didn't really know how to use a sewing machine, so I would kind of tape stuff together and then kind of try to sew it to the best of my ability. It kind of worked, kind of didn't work, but the look on this jacket I thought was at least pretty cool. Cool enough to definitely go ahead and do it again. I know it's one of Slick's favorite, or that time period. It's basically when I didn't know what I was doing. Everything looked like it was done more like by a crackhead, and people like that stuff a bit more. Than maybe the stuff that looks cleaner from when I started to know what I'm doing. But it's pretty easy to look like I don't know what I'm doing. It doesn't take much to get back to that rough. It's kind of, if you picture if you're doing a drawing, so if you do a contour drawing, you put your pencil down, you don't take it up, you make like kind of all these like kind of nice lines. That's basically what good sewing is kind of like. I mean, you're laying down nice lines and everything's sewn together nice. We'll just use the word nice. So the way I used to sew was more like scribbling, because I knew I wasn't going to be able to sew a straight line, so I would just go back and forth, like kind of like this with the sewing machine, hitting forward, reverse, just like me, just just making sure the stuff was never going to come back up. So that was kind of like the plan there. And so a lot of the stuff that I did had like way too much stitching and nonsense on it. But it did turn into a style that I ended up going kind of back to later on and messing around with. Um, and yeah, I mean, it's a way to do things, that's for sure. So I'm gonna do more of that stuff. That's actually more fun for me. And so if you picture like kind of the scrappy, you know, erratic nonsense, but mixed with a good construction. So like way back when, I didn't barely know how to put in zippers and any of that. Uh, any of those things. They didn't really have snaps or any of that. So that's the advantage. It's going to look super crazy, but it's going to have all the good stuff. It's going to have like a zipper that's put in correctly. It's going to have the some snaps and stuff. Do some nice shoulder board things up here. It'll have some other cool features, but it will make. It's still going to be making a jacket that's going to last for a really long time. These are all going to be denim. So what I used to do when I first started, I'd just get a bunch of pants and rip them all apart, and that's how I would get my denim. I was getting denim from doing that, and I was getting denim from stealing it from a place I used to work at in L.A. The guy downstairs was I don't know what you want to say. I guess it doesn't matter now. It was American Apparel. It was the name of the company that was below where I used to work, which was at a screen printing place when I first moved to LA, and somehow that all happened, and I was working there and realized that this guy was just doing a bunch of stuff down there. Yeah, that is Axiom Days actually. Yeah, because that's from a Spunk tour that happened I think in '89. The picture that you guys are hopefully gonna this picture here is from a tour that is in I believe Spokane, Washington. That was taken by the bass player. That's like some old ass jean pant legs, kind of mutated onto a German short sleeved like field shirt, and then spray paint and drawn flames and patches and a bunch of other stuff. Um, and then yeah, so I would just make stuff like crappy crazy back then. There's a stop sign on my crotchal region. Yeah, just whatever. I was just doing whatever. I didn't have any idea what I was doing because my mom showed me how to sew, but that was just putting patches on stuff. That was the extent of that. And then the rest I kind of figured out. And then moved to LA, met someone, and figured out even more. Um, so Slick is mentioning this UC picture, which I think you can see on. Well, I just go to the Junker Designs page. It's there. Um, it's a picture of UC69 basically peeing in a toilet, and then there's a succulent young lady like laying on the ground, slightly disheveled looking. And let me find that picture. I'll put that picture up. Because I just posted it not too long ago. So the two kind of styles that I'm going to end up revisiting are the really cracked out denim stuff that I used to do, and then more of this other stuff that you're going to see that Slick is mentioning, which is I'm not sure what year that stuff is from, but it's definitely like phase 2 or phase 3 Junker where I definitely knew more of what I was doing, but still I think stuff still was like half crazy. um, with the stitching, and then a bunch of like weird patches and a bunch of other stuff like that. So it's still like a little bit cuckoo, but a little more refined, I guess. I don't know if you want to use that word, but we could just say like a little bit more refined. It's a little bit more. Uh, there's a bit more thought, I think, going into it. Not very much thought, but a little more thought was going into it, and it was probably when I was getting more like into the leather stuff, um, because it takes a little while. You just can't really haul off and start doing leather straight away. Although I did. I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of learning that's going to have to happen, and you have to have the right kind of machines, or else you like torture yourself. Um, yeah, all kinds of stuff like that. So it was still kind of half-assed. Like I sewed probably like a majority of 2001 until probably 2004 on a machine that's not wasn't even made for leather. And I just, because it was an old Singer straight stitch, it had no reverse. But because those old Singers were so good, and if you put a Teflon foot on there, you could pretty much just make it. You could bend it to make it do your will, basically. Um, and you could sew leather. It's not the ideal situation, like at all. But you can make it work. It's not an earthquake. I'm just like, my laptop is on a box, and you don't want to know the whole fucking sordid story about what's going on over here anyway. So I'm trying to add an image. If we can do this, I'm going to show you the UC picture. Um, it's really cool. It was shot by this guy named Ville, and he's the guy that shoots all the cool 69 Eyes stuff. They put out a book that's got a bunch of junker stuff in it, so you'll see it. Not this shot, I don't think is in there, but you'll see a lot of his photography in there, and you'll see a lot of junker stuff. But I think the book, if I'm not mistaken, is mostly black and white with a brown cover. I don't remember what it's called, but it's a really really good rock and roll like picture book. So this is the other one that we're talking about. This is 69 Eyes. UC, he's the drummer. He was good enough to come over and model some stuff. Actually, when he was in town at that time, he also was like a regular ass model in another fashion show that we did that was down in Hollywood, and that was a lot of fun. And so he's been a great supporter of Junker for like a really long time. Route 69 is the name. See, Slick knows all this stuff. I can't remember any of this stuff. So here's the picture that Slick is talking about. And the girl on the floor is, I can never remember her name. The name of the band is September Morning. And let me look at, I need to look that up. I don't want to talk about her and not know her name. That's just not cool. I should know it, but that's just my brain is like that, so I don't remember right now. So September Morning, musical group. Oh, Emily Lazar. Okay, so that's Emily, Miss Emily. She's been around for a while. I mean, I knew her like most of the time was in Los Angeles. Always super cool. She's always been working on this band, pushing this band. She's very, very dedicated. And I happened to get both of them. there on a day, and we took like a ton of great pictures. Like they were in bed together for a while, and then they were by the toilet for a while. So everyone wins. Um, everyone wins, and then it's kind of hard to see. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. Um, I'm trying to make one of my screens bigger. We did try to like spill some. It might have been in the later shots. We got like some fucking chili or something and spilled it down the toilet, so it looked like puke. So I'm not sure if that's in that picture. I really can't tell, but it could have been later on we were doing that as well. So that was that stuff. That was we'll call that phase two. And then Slick is letting me know. So like 2007 is when I did a bunch of the stuff for 69 Eyes. So it was kind of a short period of time that I worked with those guys, and it was did a lot of these kind of like matching vests and stuff, and Yorgi the singer was buying some really cool jackets. I think everyone in the band got a jacket, but UC and Yorgi definitely bought a bunch of stuff. And then I think after that, their style now went back. Maybe it's more clean. I think the last stuff I saw for them promo wise was like a bunch of black biker jackets and stuff. So a bit cleaner, like out of the dirty phase or whatever, which is fine. I do want to work with them again. I'm just not sure how we will do it. It would be cool to do some designs from the ground up, and really try to do something. I don't know, something really different. They're usually open to a lot of ideas, so we could see what happens. I haven't talked to those guys in a while. I talked to them the other day. I mentioned it on here. I'll mention it again real quick. Jurgi put me in touch with a guy who's going to do a book about this great Finnish band called Smack. So I got to write some stuff for that book. It's just answering a couple questions, but that's going to be really, really super cool. And as soon as I have the information on when all that stuff's going to come out, I will let you know. When I get to LA, I'm going to be able to finish a bunch of shirts that I started that no one has seen yet. So when I started Junker, I was working at two different t-shirt companies doing screen printing. And so when they do print t-shirts, you do testers. You just have to test it, make sure the screen is lined up, and all that nonsense. And so depending on how the company does that, you'll end up with testers with like 20 prints all over them. And it looks fucking nuts. So when I started Junker, I was like, I could take these shirts that already have a bunch of prints on them. I could fuck them up more. I could dye them, and then I could put one really crazy like bold Junker print on here instead, and then sell them. So that's what I'm trying to recreate, except for it takes forever. So that's what I've been working on in LA. The last time I was in LA, I started it. Hopefully this time I'll get it to be finished. I think the goal was 12 or 14 screen prints on one shirt, and then finding one new design to kind of like finish out the middle. So that'll get finished when I go to LA. A bunch more leather stuff will get finished. Probably end up designing a couple of new things. And that's basically the plan for Los Angeles, besides the party. The other things that I'm going to do is at the Peterson Car Museum. I think the original Land Speeder is there. There's some Mad Max cars. There's BladeRunner vehicles. I think 3 or 4 of those. I think the Ectomobile or whatever, the Ghostbusters station wagon is there. Maybe the original Batmobile. Yeah, there's like a ton of stuff that's going to be there. So I'm going to check that out. I also have half of a day put aside to go around all the Blade Runner locations. And you figured I would have done this. already. The one that, there's two that you can get to super easy. Like every time I take the plane, and then I take a bus, and then I end up jumping off at Union Station. So you walk through Union Station, you can see the police station part of the building that they use for Blade Runner. So I see that every time I go there. The other thing in Blade Runner is Second Street Tunnel, which you can drive through it. It's been in, I believe it's been in Terminator. It's been in iRobot. It's been in like tons and tons and tons of stuff. It's the tunnel that's all like kind of glossy white tiles. The thing I haven't done that I need to go do is Bradbury Building. I understand that the Bradbury Building might be a little bit harder to go see now, or the hours are more restrictive. I don't know, but so there's the Bradbury Building. There's the the Million Street Theater is like right across the street from the Bradbury Building. But I've never like walked on the pavement there, but I've driven by it a bunch of times, and so those are some things that I'm gonna do. I'm in talks right now to do cool 3D. Oh, send me that information, Mark. I'll be there. The 12th in LA also is a dark arts art show. Chet Zar is putting that on. There's something else that I want to talk to you guys about. It doesn't look like we're reaching like a ton of people on the West Coast with these kinds of. The channel's not grown that much yet. It will. It will. But let me find her. There's a really great cosplayer that shot some stuff for me. And where is she? I don't know. But anyway, I'm in talks to go out to do a weekend in November in the LA area. There's a thing called Dystopia Con is going to start happening. So it looks like I'm going to probably go and be a speaker on one of the panels there. And that's kind of all I have going on. I still can't tell you about the awesome rock and roll news. But I'm doing, it looks like the clothing line with the big time rock singer is going to happen. It's going to give people opportunities to get items, in 3 different tiers. Like there will be regular bandanas and shirts and hats and stuff. There'll be a section, I think we're going to call it like the junkyard, where you can get a pass and you can go in there and you can see other items. And then there's going to be the replicas division of those items, which is going to be stage gear that's been worn on tour that I'm going to replicate to the best of my memory with the help of a bunch of photos and stuff. That it'll be a complete and total replica as close as I can get it kind of stuff. So there's all that stuff is going on. Thank you guys for hanging out. I've talked long enough. I need more coffee. Mike's been sitting here patiently. We're about to go start tearing down some more pants and start making some samples for these jackets. If you guys are interested in the jacket that you saw pictured, and that would be the you know who. It's the where'd it go? I'm having a lot of problems with this OBS, so I just lost that image. So there's the Punky Monkey crazy denim jackets we're working on. And so that'll be the first things that'll be offered here pretty soon. I'd like to do that hopefully by the end of October, because I know I'm going to start them now. I'm going to have to finish them when I get back from LA, or take them and finish them in Los Angeles. But basically it's going to be the picture that you saw earlier with some more special features. But anyway, I'll see you guys again tomorrow, hopefully with a new intro and everything, with some cool music. And all right, I appreciate your time. Have a good day. Okay.